Hey everybody, today I'm going to talk about that passive aggressive person in your life. Do you have a passive aggressive person in your life? I think we all do. And how do you deal with that passive aggressive person in your life? So the word passive aggressive, it's a weird word because you have the word passive, which means you don't really do anything about it. And then you have the word aggressive, which is like, and you're fighting and being aggressive. So when you have someone who's passive aggressive, you have someone that's saying something or doing something that's lashing out, or they're frustrated about something, but they're not directly addressing the problem. So what do you do when you're dealing with passive aggressiveness? So do you not do anything? Do you let it fester in your mind? Do you repeat over and over again what that person said? Do you let it fester like a wound in your mind and you think about it over and over? Do you talk to that person and directly address it? And do you confront that person? Are you aggressive when you are confronting that person? Do you not say anything and you vent to someone else about it and work through it? Do you try to figure out a healthy way to confront that person and talk about it? Do you vent to someone else and try to figure out the right way to address the situation? There's lots of different ways that people deal with being passive aggressive. And how do you deal with it? So the therapist in me is saying that an important way to deal with it is first recognize the feeling that you're having about it. Are you frustrated at this passive aggressiveness? And why are you frustrated? Are you guilty here? Or are you not guilty? Is there something that you need to change? And if there is, maybe that should be addressed. And with that passive aggressive behavior, if you're feeling frustrated, then you have to recognize that and say, okay, I need to stop just thinking about this over and over. And I need to figure out what I'm going to do. If you need to talk it out with someone, then talk it out with someone completely unrelated and work it out. Tell them the scenario, tell them what's going on. If you're able to work through that and think clearly, then maybe you write down the stuff that you talked about. You put down the important points so you know what you need to say, or you log it in your mind what the important points were that you brought up and that you wanted to say. And you have to figure out how you're going to have that discussion with that passive aggressive person. So another thing that you can do is talk with someone who is related to the situation and kind of vent about it and complain about it. But know that if you continue to do that over and over again, it's gonna harbor some negativity and negative energy. So I would put a time limit on it. Maybe only bring it up once in conversation. Don't keep bringing it up over and over again, because that's gonna bring down the mood, your mood, and you don't want that because then it's negatively affecting you. So what's important to also realize is that if we've got a passive aggressive person in our life, some people might have the tendency, and I'm guilty of this, that's why I'm talking about it. Some people might have the tendency to not do anything about it, and then it causes them to lash out in a passive aggressive way towards the other people in their life that are completely unrelated to the situation. So projection. And that's not a good thing either, because it's negatively affecting your life in other areas. So we don't want to be lashing out at people who it's not their fault at all. They have nothing to do with that situation. So make sure that you're not doing that. And if you are doing that, then become more aware of it in the future and deal with that passive aggressive frustration as soon as you can. So another way to deal with it is if you choose to not confront it, if you choose to not confront the person, then you might want to just repeat to yourself over and over, let it go, and figure out some way to process through that. So listen to angry music, go work out, do what you need to do to get out that frustration, and then let it go. Don't keep going over it over in your mind. And if your mind goes back to that, say, no, drop it, let it go. And if you need to continue to do those processing skills, those processing coping skills, then keep doing those processing coping skills. But if it keeps coming back to you and back to you over and over again, then maybe you should confront it. So that would again mean maybe writing down those things that you want to say and writing that down in a calm frame of mind so that you're thinking clearly, and then bringing that paper with you if you need to when you're ready to confront that person over those passive aggressive statements. And try to do so without getting frustrated, without getting worked up. And that's hard to do. So it's important to decide whether it's worth it to have that conversation or not, and how you're going to word those things. So the other option is to just do nothing about it and be miserable about it. And I wouldn't advise that, because that is not a good feeling. So figure out what you think would work for you and give it a try. So I hope this helps, but I'm interested to know how you deal with passive aggressive people. So let me know in the comments below, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Thanks, guys.